Men have wasted away in front of it, even gone mad.
But is that the only danger with the Mirror of Erised? Sure, we don't know a ton about the mirror, but it should be pretty easy to avoid, it's just a metaphor for living in the moment. If you're not around it, then there's no danger. The mirror's powers are pretty basic in theory, though. It just takes a look at you and then shows you back your heart's desire. Pretty basic in theory, it's even engraved into it. Erised stra eru oit ube kafru oiton washi. Which, of course, if you read in a mirror, says, I show not your face, but your heart's desire.
Well, duh.
I'm not breaking any news with that, though. I just wanted to read that backwards, just for fun. But all legends have a basis in some kind of fact, at least according to Hermione and Professor Binns. So there's not a ton we know about the mirror, but we do know that it was built before the end of the 19th century and that Dumbledore is in possession of it by 1927. And this isn't the only magical artifact that Dumbledore possesses that has a questionable origin and legend with danger surrounding it. There's also the Deathly Hallows, which he believes were created by three powerful brothers who were just very magically gifted, but there's still the legend surrounding it where three brothers encountered death on a path and he gifted the Deathly Hallows to them for besting him. So if that's kind of like the legend where it becomes a kid's story to teach children to not go picking fights and stay humble, then what would the story be for the Mirror of Erised? So if we look at the legend of the Mirror of Erised as a kid's story teaching them to live in the moment and control what you can control, then what's the real story behind it? Now, to answer what the true story would be behind the mirror, I think we have to look at another Harry Potter theory, and that is that the Peverell brothers created three other magical objects, being the Mirror of Erised, the Veil, and the Pensieve. The theory suggests that the first brother created the Mirror of Erised to rhyme with him creating the Elder Wand, but when you look at the legends of the Resurrection Stone and the Mirror of Erised, those two stories tend to be a little bit closer, because you're getting your heart's desire, or as close as you possibly can to getting it, but it's not really what you wanted, and it's not quite real either. Which would then lead the first brother to trying to seek a way to bring his dead brother back, looking into the mirror and seeing the veil, which would be a way to further humiliate Death as he would try to take him back from the other side. But then the first brother dies, either by somebody else's hand or perhaps even walking through the veil himself, thinking he's going to be able to go back and forth to bring back his brother. So then we have the two of them dead, and then you kind of start to have the idea of a legend that it's the mirror that led to them both dying, because the mirror showed them what they wanted, but there was kind of a twist at the end of it where you're not really getting what you want from it. It's kind of tricking you. And then this does fit with the last brother as well, considering that he is the noblest of the three, as he now knows that there's no way that he can bring his brothers back from death. He just wants a way that he can remember them more clearly, which then leads to the creation of the Pensieve. And where this story starts to become legends is in how powerful the Peverell brothers are. And if people are looking at it and saying, hey, two of these brothers died shortly after looking into this mirror, then people would start to think that the mirror was cursed. And if they're thinking it's cursed, then maybe they're worried that it shows them the future or something like that. There are other signs like the Grim, for example, where people look at it and think they're going to die. It's just that the Mirror of Erised is much more tempting. I mean, even when Ron sees himself in it for the first time, he's thinking that it could show the future, even if he's kind of just hoping that that's his future. But, if you really read the series, you tend to notice that Ron kind of predicts a lot of things that are happening, almost as if he's part seer. But, then Harry ends up saying,
how can it? Both my parents are dead.
Harry, come on, man. I was trying to set you up for a joke there. No need to go all Disney orphan on me. But Ron still may have a point here, because, I mean, in most of our situations, our heart's greatest desire is something we're going to be striving towards. So it's something that most likely will be a part of our future, and the mirror may be showing it to us, but only in a way that it's going to end up going poorly. So maybe what the curse of the mirror really is that, yes, it will show you what your heart's desire is, but it's not going to show you how much it's going to cost to get that desire. And even if you do get it, it's not going to go the way that you want it to. Think of it kind of like a genie's bottle, where, like, you wish to be rich, and instead of being given billions of dollars, you're turned into a delicious chocolate cake. But that's all in theory. Let's try to put this into practice with the characters we know do look in the mirror. Starting with Dumbledore in Fantastic Beasts, who looks in it and sees Grindelwald. Now, there are obviously two ways that we can interpret this scene here, one of which could be that he just wants to stop Grindelwald and that's his heart's desire, but this is Harry Potter and love is always the biggest theme here, so I think it's more likely to say that he wants Grindelwald at his side again, and he just misses that time when they were in love, and it was a simpler time, you know, all of his family was still alive too. And Dumbledore does have Grindelwald with him at least a couple more times in his life. The only problem is they're dueling, with the first time being after Grindelwald is briefly elected the Supreme Mugwump of the International Confederation of Wizards, and then their blood pact breaks and they duel in that alternate dimension bubble thing. Really undercut the seriousness of those made-up words by saying bubble thing, didn't I?
What words are made up?
The other is their duel in 1945, where Dumbledore defeats Grindelwald, or has him surrender to him, but, you know, the point is that, sure, he has Grindelwald now, but it's changed. You know, there's not that same love that was there before.
Who will love you now, Dumbledore?
And we don't know fully how their duel ends, but with how much Rita Skeeter gets right in her biography of Dumbledore, I do lean towards surrender, and the only way I could see Grindelwald surrendering would be because he loves Dumbledore still. I mean, Dumbledore says he may be a shade more talented, but why else would Grindelwald surrender? And this would be the curse of the mirror kinda giving Dumbledore what he wants. You know, Grindelwald acknowledges their love, but then the twist of it is they can never be together again. Grindelwald's gonna spend the rest of his life in prison, and Dumbledore is gonna be out there knowing that what they had was real, but that he's never going to be able to have it again. Up next we have Quirinus Quirrell, who sees it in Philosopher's Stone. Obviously, he sees himself giving the stone to Voldemort, and Dumbledore has it protected so that because that's what he wants to do, he'll never be able to get it. But he still does get really close because Harry comes down in this basement that's randomly in Hogwarts for a year and is able to get the stone out of the mirror, and when he does, this happens. Yeah, this is as close as Quirrell can get to getting the stone here, but even then he still gets killed by love too, as we then start to get a little bit of a pattern here where love can get you close to your heart's desire, but then because of the curse of the mirror, love is what also takes it away. And real quick, I'm referring to Harry's ability to love here. That's basically his superpower. I don't mean that Quirrell and Voldemort have some sort of love that's why he's getting close to getting it. Unless... Happy Valentine's Day, my lord. I have more garlic for you.
You idiots, you're supposed to give chocolate for Valentine's.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are really that surprised to learn that Voldemort's a pretty abusive partner, but where this theory gets interesting with the mirror is with Ron and Harry, who both also come across it in the same year as Quirrell. When Harry stumbles upon the mirror for the first time, he sees his parents and all of his family in it for the very first time, and then when he takes Ron to see it later, he ends up seeing himself as head boy, the captain of the Quidditch team, and standing alone as he is greater than all of his brothers. And where this starts to come to fruition is in Deathly Hallows, starting with when Ron is getting affected by the locket.
Oh, you don't know how it feels! Your parents are dead!
Man, if I had a nickel for every time one of these guys said that Harry's parents were dead, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but man, that's weird that that happens twice in this series. But either way, Ron is getting what he wants here, as he is now alone before he gets to Shell Cottage where Bill lives. And while Ron wants to be better than all of his brothers, and Charlie is the Quidditch captain of the family, I think it's fair to say he wants to be most like Bill, who is head boy, ends up marrying Fleur, who Ron is obsessed with, and Harry says it best, he's cool.
Hey!
So this is Ron getting what he wanted when he was 11. You know, he's getting to be alone, and he could not be any more miserable than he is right now. And how does Ron get back to Harry and Hermione? With the Deluminator, and that little light that goes through his heart, as love ends up saving him from himself. And with Harry, this actually happens twice in Deathly Hallows. The first time is at Christmas when he and Hermione go to Godric's Hollow to see his parents' graves and the first house that he ever lived in, as this is as close as he can get to his family as possible, even if it is just a memory. And this trip ends up leading to them getting attacked by Nagini, as Harry really is the closest he ever gets in the series to dying here, even in a book where he, actually dies. And he's only able to get out of this situation because Hermione's with him. She manages to save him from Nagini and get the 2 of them out of there before Voldemort can show up, so the Curse of the Mirror nearly kills Harry here, and it's only the power of friendship that gets him out of it. But there is still a cost here. In all the craziness, Harry's wand gets snapped, and it's pretty important to his final plans for how he's going to survive against Voldemort, even if he doesn't fully realize it until it does get snapped. Not that Harry doesn't have about 1,000,000 other defenses for how he's going to survive this, but he doesn't know about them because he can't know about them if he's going to survive. So as far as Harry's concerned here, it's basically, Merry Christmas, man, here's a broken wand. And he does come across this curse again as he uses the Resurrection Stone to summon his parents, his godfather, and the mentor he always seems to forget about, as they all comfort him so that he can willingly die. Now, of course, Harry survives this because of the sacrificial love cast upon him by his mother that Voldemort takes into his veins, but again, this is the mirror trying to kill you in a way that makes you think that it's what you want, and the only way that you're going to survive it is with an equally powerful act of love. So at the end of the day, you really have to be careful what you wish for, because you don't know just how much it's going to cost. It may cost you your life, may even cost you more than that. And that is the true danger of the Mirror of Erised. Whether you're wanting power, riches, family, some time alone, or even to serve others, you may not be able to see the danger of it, even when it's staring you in the face. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments what you would see if you looked into the Mirror of Erised. We'll try to make sure you stay safe as you go for it. But if you stuck around this long, you probably enjoyed the video, so please drop a like, subscribe if you want more like this, and I'll see you next time on STV.